media. And as you can see, they're quite fond of their smartphones. And they are super high tech. When I come to China, they have to tell me, John, use this app. This is happening now. They're the ones teaching me what's hip and trending. I'm the one that has to ask them, Grandma, Grandpa, I haven't seen you in 5 years. Please put those phones away. And if you have any Chinese friends, ask them about their grandparents. They're all like this in China. During COVID, I could not visit them for 5 years. So I thought, how bad can this become? Really bad. So on the street, grandma pays everything with her phone. When she's at home, she has nothing to do. She shops online. I have my background in e-commerce, online retail. And the top 1% e-commerce consumer, like the Amazon Prime consumer, orders twice a week. My grandma, she gets 5 packages per day. This group is not online in Western Europe, but is very online in China. So in the restaurant, my phone runs out of battery, no problem. I grab Alipay, the Chinese super app, or WeChat. I rent a power bank for 10 cents an hour. Who has been in China for the past 5 years? Quite a few. Now, you will know, you have seen these machines on every corner of the street. This is circular economy. The Chinese have figured this out. You can rent a power bank for 10 cents an hour, and you can put them back everywhere. This also means you don't need to have a power bank bed at home. So this lithium can be used for cars. So then we go to karaoke, we do some singing, always after dinner. If you need to do B2B business with a Chinese company, first get really drunk, then talk business. That's the way to do business with Chinese. Then we go outside, and I get reminded, oh yeah, China is still a developing country. But even homeless people, they need to innovate. So homeless people, you pay with your phone, and the money will get there. And then I drank too many beers. I wanted to go to a public toilet, and the public toilets there have screens. And this is not a big city like Shanghai. This is a small city, a C-tier city, just 12 million people, where my grandma lives. And this toilet has a display. And when you look on the screen, which toilet is occupied, how often has it been cleaned today, how much water has been used, how much electricity has been saved, what's the air quality in there, does it stink? Everything is on this screen. The person who was responsible for hygiene, who used to be sitting next to the toilet, is not there anymore. He or she cycles around the city with a smartphone, telling them where they need to be. And China had their famous one-child policy, and they need to make such aggressive innovations to combat the population aging they will have. Back in the hotel, my phone was empty again, but I wanted something to drink. It's also no problem. I can pay with my face. Proof that not every Chinese person looks alike. 800 million Chinese people can use this technology, so it's everywhere already. And for me, every time when I come back with the airplane, for me it feels like a time machine. I have a background in innovation sciences. I've worked in strategy for innovative e-commerce companies. I'm a tech nerd in general. And every time when I go to China, I come back like, oh yeah, Europe is standing still. Nothing is happening here. And if it goes on like this, Europe will become the museum of the world. The problem is we don't get many good stories from China. In our media and our news, we read all the bad stuff. But the good stories from China are hard to find. But yeah, there are over a billion people there. They do good stuff. So today I will show you the good examples, how we can learn from them, especially in the automotive industry right now. And the bad things you read in the news are also true. But yeah, go to your favorite news app for that. For the rest, I'm a typical European-born Chinese, so everything you think right now is true. My parents have a restaurant. I'm the boy in yellow. I was literally born in the restaurant and grew up in the restaurant. And my mission right now is to bring East and West closer together. The world is very polarized. It's either you hate them or you love them, but it's very nuanced. And bringing them together is what makes things more beautiful, more balanced. So I could not go to China for 5 years. And within e-commerce, I always knew it goes super quickly. But the car industry surprised me the most. Because after COVID, 5 years later, I went into China and I saw so many new car brands. Cheap cars from 3,000 euros to expensive cars from 300,000 euros. Phone makers started to make cars. Car makers started to make phones. Everything was happening at the same time. And I could not figure it out anymore. And I am a car nerd. My previous car was a BMW M135i, 6 cylinders. I got it tuned, so it was like 400 horsepower only on the rear wheels. I know my cars, but I went into China and you have no clue what's happening. Currently, I traded the BMW. I still regret it because I drive a BYD right now. In Holland, I'm super special with this car, but I came this morning to Madrid airport and I saw every Uber driver driving one, so it's more common here. It's good to see. And what's often been misunderstood is why China did so much innovation on electricity. But if you have actually been there, lived there, you know why. 10 years ago, I studied in Shanghai. This was the view out of my campus. Smog. You go outside, you get dizzy, your head hurts, your lungs hurt, your stomach hurts. I think I will die 5 years early because I've lived there for a year. This was the view. Now, if you go to China, in Shanghai, the sky looks like this. Within 10, 15 years, they fixed it. These same towers are on this image, but you can't see them. This extreme progress in China is the perfect example of why we don't get the good news. Because this is very good. They fixed the air pollution issue. And in Shanghai, over 50% of all cars are electric. The streets are silent, the streets are clean, and most importantly, you can breathe. And China could not rely on the Germans, the Americans, or the Japanese to help them with this. They had to do this on their own. Other things that went crazy during these last 10 years. Food delivery. We here have Just Eat Takeaway. They are a market leader in every country they're in. Just over a little over 1 billion meals a year. And you have Meituan, their Chinese competitor. There's over 15 billion meals a year right now. They're the company that are currently using drones to deliver your coffee. And it's only the Europeans who are standing there and filming the drones, because for Chinese people, it's normal. For them, this is not a pilot. In Shanghai, in Shenzhen, in Beijing, you can see these drones dropping meals everywhere. They still do it at these dedicated stations. That's for safety reasons currently. When you look at ride sharing, the same thing. So here we have Uber. They do over 14, 15 rides a day. The Chinese competitor, Didi, does over 60 million rides a day. Only in China. My shortest ride was 200 meters. Driver called me, "Hey John, 200 meters, it's in the same street, are you crazy?" I said, no, it's 45 degrees outside. I don't want to get sweaty. Just come in front. And it cost me like €1 because everyone is doing it. And when you look at retail, It's also crazy. 10 years ago, China had less than 10% of everything they sold online, comparable to Western Europe and the US. But within 10 years, almost half of everything goes online. Half of everything. So this also means the Lamborghini you buy for your best friend, you order that online in China, and your super expensive next watch, you order that online in China. But the customer experience has to be different. You need to try it on in the app, and the delivery needs to be better. There's a guy in a three-piece suit delivering your watch. So what did China do different in their innovation to come to this point? Leapfrogging. China skips entire steps in their innovation. For most people, the smartphone was the first device where they saw the internet. So there is no desktop. Everything is in the app. For cars, they went from combustion engines, which they never invested in the combustion engines. They let the Germans and the Japanese do it. They went straight to electric. And their trains go from 80 kilometers per hour to 400, and their next generation will go 1,000 kilometers per hour. They're okay with making these big jumps. But before you make these jumps, you have to do one thing, and that's acknowledge you're behind, that you're not number one anymore. And when you've done that, you copy. So Obama fried chicken, Starbucks, Microsoft Bimbos. This is the China we know, the copycats. This is what they do 20, 30 years ago. But this is simply not true anymore. The fun thing is, if you look at the internet companies, they've done the same. So Meituan, the food delivery app, copied Groupon. They only changed the colors. But these days, it's your super app for everything services. You want food, movie tickets, flowers, a holiday, plane tickets. Everything is in that app. And they do the drone deliveries. And the fun thing is, if you go out to eat, there was with my uncle in Sunten, we didn't like the desserts at the restaurant. We ordered from another restaurant on Meituan. So a restaurant owner is okay for you ordering food from somewhere else. That's how you can do so many orders. And with Alibaba, in China they had Taobao, and Taobao was just a bad copy of eBay. That was their starting point. Okay, we need to catch up, we just copy it. And by copying, you learn how they work. And then you learn, okay, this is how we improve. So today you open the Alibaba apps, you have 3D metaverse worlds, you have social commerce, and you have AI influencers. People order their car on Taobao because shopping online is so much cooler. But even if you're Alibaba, you have all this stuff, you're so powerful, you cannot become too complacent, too comfortable. Because in China, the next competitor is around the corner all the time. So Alibaba used to have 80% market share. 80%. Then came Pinduoduo. We know them here, I think, from Temu. That's the mother company. They gained 15% market share in just 3 years. And here in Europe, just within 2 years, Temu became the number 2 e-commerce seller. Only Amazon is still bigger. So you see the same aggression. And they did this by being innovative. They did group buying. You can only buy something against 80% discount if you buy it with 10 friends together. So they did real innovation. And then the new kid on the block, Douyin, or TikTok as we know it. TikTok in China had 800 million users, people just scrolling around, and they said, okay, let's add a buy button. In Europe, in Western Europe, an average TikTok user spends 2 hours a day. Not that different from a Chinese user. They're currently thinking, hey, let's add TikTok shop and let's add a buy button. And we only have to wait the first car dealers to sell their first car on TikTok. But you have to do very well with your content on TikTok. This is Zheng Xiangxiang. She made 14 million euros in revenue within 1 week, just by showing products for 3 seconds. You have live chat and you can buy everything you see immediately. Unlike her, you have like 99% of people, their streams just don't make it. You have to bring your A game. And with cars, we've seen the same things in China. So everyone, I think, knows the Landwinds. They first also copied, and they were really, really bad. I think the crash test was 1 star. If you crash, you're dead. It's not okay. But today, if you go to China, you see the craziest things. You see here the Yangwang U9. They can jump around. This is 250,000 euros, full electric car. Young Chinese millionaires don't buy a Lamborghini anymore. They buy this. And then U8, also 200,000 euros. It can float on water. It does things no other car has done, and they are just production vehicles. Also 1,000 horsepower, and it's I think it's 3,000 kilos. It's too heavy for European roads, but in the Middle East they're selling quite well. And every Chinese car needs a gimmick, because they don't have history. They're not BMW that can say driving pleasure. They are not Audi with their Quattro technology. They're not Mercedes with their prestige. So they have no history, they have no brand value. They can only do one thing, and that's innovate. And then the brand history will come, but they don't have time to wait for that. And the right one is really funny. All the cars from Huawei, they just park themselves, and there's a guy in his S-Class. He thinks, why can't my car do that? And those cars cost even half of what the Mercedes costs. All the Chinese cars do this cool tech stuff, and we in Europe only see the tip of the iceberg. I think 5 or 6 years ago, there was more than 600 electric car brands in China. 600. Now there's a big consolidation, so this year around 100, 150 left. But the Chinese government wants them to consolidate even more because it's just too many. The cars coming to Europe, the brands coming to Europe, are the ones that or have won in China. For instance, BYD. They're successful in China, or any Geely brand. They come to Europe because if we can beat Volkswagen in China, we can beat them in Germany. That's what they're thinking. The second part are car brands in China that have lost and want to try again abroad. You have to be afraid of those ones because you don't know if they will be around the next 10 years. The big question usually is, okay, China has so many electric cars, over 50% of the big cities is already electric. How can they charge? Where does the power come from? Because here in Europe, we have an electricity problem. We just don't have enough. That's the good thing about the Chinese government, they can plan 10 years ahead. So they already wanted to do this. So China has quadrupled their energy, the electricity generation for the last 20 years. Meanwhile, Europe, you see it dripping. It's really bad. So we want to make that transition, but we just don't have the power. And meanwhile in China has all the power. And this is not only for electric cars, but also for autonomous factories, for AI, because all the data centers need a lot of power. And luckily, this power is also becoming greener every day. Most of the growth has come from renewables, wind, water, solar, and nuclear. And the reason is very interesting, especially with the war going on right now. An electric car in China is not called an EV, not an electric vehicle. It's called an NEV, a new energy vehicle. And you get a green license plate instead of a blue one. A new energy vehicle, because old energy is oil. And if you use oil, you need to use the dollar. You make America more powerful. Plus, if you use oil, America can just cut you off. So China knew early on, okay, we have a big pollution problem. And we have some strategic risks. So we need to become an electric state. Become renewable, because then America can't screw you. So for the first time, you see oil and gas and coal stabilizing, and the rest is growing super quickly. Mother Earth will get better, but geopolitically, this is also super important. And I think in Europe, we have not waken up yet to this problem. We start to feel it, but this is why China does it. So that's why they give subsidies. That's why they go into electric. And the weird thing is the government is quite open about this, because the subsidies, everyone can get them. But you see the German manufacturers sleeping in China. BYD in 3 years went from 200,000 cars a year to almost 4 million cars a year within 3 years. Even with unlimited subsidies, permits, government support, how the hell do you scale an organization this quickly? Factories, dealerships, repair networks. This has to be taught in business schools, but we don't hear the story here. Like, how do you do this, even with unlimited money? And imagine you're the CEO of Volkswagen. The first year, an analyst tells you, yeah, we are still #1 in China, and BYD, they are the suppliers of our batteries, right? Yeah, okay, whatever. The second year, analyst tells you, yeah, BYD has doubled in volume, but we are still #1, right? Okay, whatever. And then the third year, someone tells you, yeah, dear CEO, we lost the #1 spot in China. BYD has become #1. Before Volkswagen has finished their PowerPoint presentation about what to do about this, they already lost the lead. That's how quickly it goes in China. And you see the same aggression in every industry, also in e-commerce. And also within these 3 years, BYD has built 8 or 9 ships, because they say, we're going to export now, so we're going to build a lot of ships. Every ship can carry around 8,000 to 10,000 cars, and we're going to bring the cars to every country we need. And because it's BYD, they were originally the battery manufacturer. The ships also have batteries, so they run on natural gas, and when they come to your harbor, they turn off the engines and run on electricity. So it's a hybrid ship. And they do this because they know no one can help us with this growth. We have to do it on our own. And then the underlying pace is also very scary, because these Chinese companies, they see a car as a smartphone. It's software with wheels. This also means, like the regular European schedule of, okay, we do a facelift every 3-4 years, and every 7 years we come with a totally new model. That's too slow. On average, a Chinese car model does 2 years, and then there's a new model. So a lot of scientific journals finally get to see this, that's on the left. Within 6 years, BYD can produce 18 new models. NIO, almost 10. And when you look at Volkswagen, Toyota, what are they actually doing? Where are the new cars? Where are the new models? So the speed behind it is super, super scary. I also often do trips to China and bring entrepreneurs with me. So last year we went to Audi in Beijing. And Audi, their CMO, revealed us their new Audi E5. It's a new Audi brand without the 4 rings. This is an Audi made for only Chinese customers. It's 25,000 euros, I think, for the starting model, 600 kilometers of range. This one won't come to Europe because they have a joint venture with a Chinese factory, and Audi gave away 51% of that. And the CMO told me, we made this new brand identity and this new model within 2 years, the quickest we have ever done. And we asked him, okay, what was your critical success factor? Yeah, we didn't tell Germany we were doing it. So Audi China knew we can develop a car faster when we don't tell Germany. And now comes the really stupid part. This car, if you strip away the logos and the body kit, underneath it's an IML6. That's a car made by Alibaba. So they use the car platform of a car of Alibaba that already existed. They only supply the design and the logo, and the software is also written by Alibaba. The same e-commerce company from AliExpress and the cheap stuff is actually building this car for Audi. That's what's happening. And Audi is very proud because, yeah, we could have done this in 2 years, quickest ever. The visit after Audi, we went to Xiaomi. Xiaomi, the phone maker, the phone company, or maybe you have a television or a laptop or a tablet from them, but they're most known for their phones. And we went to their car factory. They said, yeah, Audi did 2 years for a PowerPoint presentation. Our whole factory was built in 180 days. And they say, we are not proud, because Tesla Shanghai was built in 160 days. That's the level of competition in China. How many days can your factories be built? This company, the CEO, Lei Jun, he said in the first year, here's 10 billion euros. I want to develop a car. This is the last thing I do before I retire. So he hired a lot of engineers from Mercedes and BMW China. From initial investment to production ready and mass production in 2 years. And you think, okay, and this yellow one is really cool. This is Xiaomi SU7 Ultra, 1500 horsepower, only 70,000 euros. And we could go into this factory. And this factory is super high tech. They told me, yeah, we have 67% automation. Only the last interior parts need to be done by humans. But there were so many robots in there. Everything happens automatically. Their whole car division has 2,500 employees. And this factory pumps out 1,000 cars a day. 2.5 employees per car per day. And this is including engineering staff. What factory in Europe is efficient as this? I only think the Tesla factory in Berlin. But this company, 3-4 years ago, only made phones, but today they make cars. And the fun thing is, if you walk into their stores in China, you see them selling fridges, washing machines, phones, laptops, and a car. This is what Apple would have been if they sold cars. And because they're a phone company, they're super good in social media because, yeah, you have a new model every year. So you see big keynotes selling the cars like it's a phone, like it's a laptop, how Apple would do it. And this first model, they did a presentation like this, put it online, and within 24 hours, they had 88,000 pre-orders. It's their first car. No journalist has seen it. No one did a test drive, and people would just put down 10,000 euros as a pre-order. So Apple is, I think, quite jealous that they have not gone this direction. And because it's an internet company or a tech company, they know how to do marketing. So if you go on Chinese social media, you see a lot of content of these cars. All the influencers make social media content about the car, just to show it off, just to do sales online. And just last summer, they released their new SUV, the U7, because they say, okay, we do a sedan coupe first because the volumes are lower, and if we learn how we can build the car, we do a more popular SUV. They launched the SUV online, and within 3 minutes, they had 200,000 pre-orders. Audi told me that they, in 2024, sold 164,000 electric cars worldwide. Xiaomi did that in 2 minutes. What the whole of Audi had to do in a year. This is a phone company, but it's becoming a top 5 car seller in China. And in 2027, next year, they will come to Europe. And I think everyone who has a Xiaomi phone already will probably do the same. So it's really, really interesting to see what's going to happen, because the next competitor can just pop out from anywhere. So yeah, in China, if you want to sell a gasoline car, you have to be quite aggressive on how to sell it. This is actually a very good car dealer in China. He is very successful with his content and selling the cars online. And this is the Maestro for Huawei, or Huawei, the mobile phone company as well. This is their Maybach killer. You just wave, the car door closes, you wave up, the blind closes. It's, I think, 90,000 euros, but it's more luxurious than a Maybach because it has all these tech features. So also in premium cars, they can sell quite a lot. So a lot of Chinese companies are coming here, but they recognize they still need us, Europeans. I have a Dutch passport. They still need us. And they hire a lot of local talent. So if you go on LinkedIn or every career page, you see all the Chinese car brands, even car brands who haven't sold any cars here yet, looking for very highly paid roles to get the local talent in there and help them set up the business in Europe. So they currently have 2 strategic objectives in China. One is automate and AI, and the second one is go abroad, go international. Because China says our car brands, our clothing brands, our electronics brands have beaten their Western counterparts in China. We are now strong enough to go international. And I've been to many factories the past few years, and they're all super automated because they have the one-child policy problem. They need to automate like crazy. So everyone is saying, yeah, I have a dark factory. It's normal. And they actually get the power for the dark factory because all these robots need electricity, but yeah, that's not a problem in China. And they do the AI stuff also really well. We all know DeepSeek, so we have Huawei, they make the autonomous driving AI for a lot of car companies. This is all functional and operational. In China, you can buy a car of 30,000, 40,000 euros and it can do this all day, every day. And the Chinese regulation just allows it. So they have become so good in automating other stuff. They gave themselves 5 stars. I'm lucky I'm Dutch, I can make these bad jokes. But we have to realize the Chinese are coming, but they still need our help. So for instance, you have the Great Wall Motor Wave 5 coffee. 5-star crash rating, very good. But when I'm listening to whey coffee, I can only think of protein powder. Most Chinese big companies have become quite arrogant because, yeah, you're the big dog in China. They think Europe is just one country with one language and one tax system. And they also think their marketing, that what worked in China is good enough for here. I've heard from quite a lot of Dutch dealerships. They said, yeah, the Chinese car brands ask us to make social media content. And then you get really a lot of those bad videos because Chinese car companies in China think, okay, making a lot of social content here works as well because it works in China. But they don't realize that the social e-commerce ecosystem here is still underdeveloped compared to China. So that needs to come with time. So we also have to teach the Chinese what to do here. So that's actually quite ironic because all the big faults we made as Western companies when they went to China, it happens the other way around now because they have become too arrogant. So that's where we can help. So 3 things. One is dare to leapfrog. How we did things yesterday won't work tomorrow, especially with all the AI innovations we have right now. We see a phone company just building a factory in 180 days and selling cars. It goes super quickly, so we need to think in bigger steps forward. And when we think, yeah, we have a lot of legacy, It slows us down. I don't see that in China. They go from cash to mobile payments to biometrics. The car charging speed in China went from like 100 kilowatts to 500. Now it goes to 1,000 kilowatts. And the next generation of BYD will go to 1.5 megawatts. They make the big leaps all the time. So I think it's a limiting belief of our European mindset. The Chinese are coming, but we can cherry pick. Not all Chinese companies coming to Europe are the successful ones in China. So when you are considering working with one, check out if they do well in China. I think one cool example of this is NIO. NIO is the car brand with the battery swaps. Their stock went sky high. In China, you see almost no one driving a NIO. So this is a question like, okay, when will they go bankrupt? Will someone buy them? So what's actually happening here? So do a bit of research about what is this company actually. And the third one, they still need our help to be successful over here. They don't have dealership networks. They don't have spare parts supply chains. They don't have repair channels. Some of them also don't know about branding. So we can position ourselves to actually help them become successful and earn a buck in between. So I see this as a big opportunity as well. My time is always limited, so you can follow me for free on my LinkedIn. I post all kinds of cool stuff about China every day for free, so a follow is much appreciated. Thank you very much.